right here. But then as soon as corruption's allowed, even more corrupt people get in and push the barrier back until pretty soon everything's fair game. And here's an article out of the Daily Mail today. And it's a headline: Mitt Romney's wife had blind trust invested in Goldman Sachs sex trafficking fund. And this is kidnapped women, children, you name it. UN's heavily involved. Anybody doesn't believe us, just search UN sex trade, UN child kidnapping. I mean, it's in the millions over a decade. I mean, it's so huge. They've got cruise ships that have got sex slaves on them, folks, that the Clintons have been connected to. World Net Daily's on reports. And this stuff is so crazy. Like DynCorp here in Austin caught running child kidnapping rings worldwide, and then they run the private CPS groups here in Texas. And I tell police on the street, and they just laugh at me because it sounds so crazy. Hey, police, you see that building? That's the biggest sex traffickers in the world. And the cops just laugh at me because it's like, yeah, right, buddy. They just don't get it. But here's the Daily Mail. It's also in the Associated Press. And it's not about her blind trust with Goldman Sachs. I'm not even saying Mitt Romney's wife's bad. My point is, this is so mainline. The question shouldn't be, why does she have a blind trust invested in Goldman Sachs sex trafficking fund? Why are there mutual fund investments on sex traffic, not just women who are above 18, and that's all enslavement anyways with drugs and the rest of it, but 15-year-old girls and younger. I mean, it's so mainline. I've seen the congressional hearings where Congresswoman McKinney brings up, hey, DynCorp's trafficking little girls and boys. Here's the documents. And Rumsfeld says, well, we put them in a penalty box and didn't give them any contracts in Bosnia and Herzegovina for a year as their punishment. And then she goes, no, you didn't. He goes, oh, let Dr. Chu, the head of the Pentagon budget at the time, and Chu's like, well, we're just allowed to do that. And then they go after her and get her. I mean, it's just like, I'm living in the twilight zone here. Again, why is it that Mitt Romney's wife's invested in this? The question is, why does Goldman Sachs have a slave sex trafficking fund? I mean, look, I've got another one right here for people. This is why I'm freaking out. Bloomberg, banks financing Mexico gangs admitted in Wells Fargo deal. In a 2-year period, $378.4 billion in drug money. I mean, and they paid a 1.3% fine on this. I mean, this is what I'm saying. If we know this, Joe, what else is going on? How much further is it going to go? This is like ridiculous. This is what makes third world countries collapse, is that people just let corruption run rampant, and finally, everything just collapses. The reason America's had all this prosperity is we weren't perfect, but we had the most liberty and were the most upstanding people when it came to business. And we didn't put up with out-of-control corruption. That's why we have this country. And people don't get this. As we lose our liberty and our morals, all the prosperity goes out the window.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you're exactly right. That it really comes down to our individual morals and our own ethical, our own codes of conduct. And if we're going to, because we want a higher dividend payment, invest in companies that'll get you a higher dividend, but they're doing immoral things, then we're complicit in that. And we need to be watchful to make sure that we're not investing in those things. And we need to put our money in good places, not in evil places that just enable the evil people to do evil things with the funds. So,
exactly. But I mean, what I'm saying is worse than that. I agree that she should know what's going on, but, she's saying a blind trust. The point is, how do they have funds for narcotics money and funds for kidnapped women? I mean,
well, as you pointed out so many times to the listeners with the quadrillion, what's it up to now?
Yeah, it's over 1,000. It's over 1,000 trillion.
Talk about hush money and bribe money. I mean, they've got all they need to build their bunkers, to bribe anyone and everyone to forward the agenda. So really all we can do is expose these things and be good examples ourselves. I remember being told as a kid that, the pagans would look at the Christians and at least note how they loved one another. They actually cared about one another, and pagans who had no, interest in Jesus Christ recognized that they loved one another. So it's not old school. We should still be doing that, and we should still be watching out for our neighbor. And we'll survive longer if we keep an eye on our neighbor than just only on ourselves and our own pocketbook.
Exactly. It's all coming to a head. And I know people out there watching. I don't claim to have all the answers. I don't even feel like I do a very good job in the final equation, but I'm doing the best I can. And I'm asking other people out there who have skills, different gifts. You've got to fight this. I mean, this is getting really bad, really fast. And if you can't feel in your gut, and not just intellectually, the danger that our society's in, if you don't know where societies go with democide and wars, you think things are bad now, folks. They're about to get a lot worse. But we have a real fighting chance with good people out there like Joe Bannister that are taking action and speaking up. And we've woken people up to a great extent. Now is the time to put that into action. Joe, it's been really great having you here with us, commercial-free on INFOWARS Nightly News. In 2 minutes, closing comments or points you'd like to make.
Well, again, just to thank you for having me on the show, Alex. I'm a big fan. I watch very frequently. Keep up on how big the octopus really is, and I can't thank you enough for all that you do in that department. You really help to enlighten me, my family. I think you're doing a great job, and just stay humble like you already are, and you'll do fine. And I would just encourage all of us in America and those that are watching around the world to be a good example. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. That's the evil one wants you to be discouraged. There's plenty to be happy about, or at least feel that you have blessings. And we just need to keep on pounding away at the evil. And if it comes back, that's okay. Just keep pounding away and keep shrinking it, because otherwise it will just envelop all of us. And
I think you just hit a key here to interrupt you, because it's absolutely true. People say, yeah, we beat them on this land grab twice, but they just came back. That's the whole point. It's an eternal struggle between the forces of corruption, the forces of good. This isn't, raising kids, having families. I always tell my wife, I say, success is just surviving and being good people. Success is trying to be a good person. Doesn't even mean we're perfect. The devil will get you down, and, oh, look, you did this bad thing. Oh, look, you did that. At least we have a conscience. Who we've really got to feel sorry for is people who don't even have one. And it's our job to get people that still have a soul to be involved. But that idea that we've got to beat the New World Order once and for all, like a Hollywood movie, and that it's all got to happen right away. They didn't build this evil overnight. We're not going to dismantle it overnight, and we're having incredible successes. In fact, you were saying on the radio today when you popped in that you're seeing people that 10 years ago, agents, old friends you had that made fun of you and stuff. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just to paraphrase, that quietly they're starting to wake up. Can you just spend a minute or two on that?
You're absolutely right. These are people who haven't mustered the courage to speak out publicly, but I've heard through sources that I have at least a quiet support. And these are people that I can only imagine from the early days in '99 when I left, that they thought. Well, some of them even told me in emails after I left, people that I was in training with in the IRS. Yeah, I've been talking to everybody, and they say, wow, Joe went off the deep end. That's what was being said in 1999. But they're not saying that quite as prevalently as we get into 2012 and 2013. Slowly but surely, everyone's ox is being gored, so to speak, and they're seeing that you're not immune if you're a federal agent. You're not immune if you're a public official of some sort. You're not immune. We are all in danger. And more people are realizing that. Thankfully, people in government are realizing that as well. But I'd like to encourage the people in government to take it up a few notches, okay? Don't, be prudent with your decisions, but don't think that you don't have something to contribute to force back evil.
Well, I agree, because I've been reading some of the federal studies, and they had an article in the Washington Post last week where they're having hearings on Capitol Hill because the IRS won't attack little old ladies as happily anymore to get their house and get bonuses. The Homeland Security knows that the terror thing's made up predominantly, and they're calling it low morale. But what's happening is people in government at record rates, they were saying, just are refusing to follow these orders, and they're just doing it passively. The old thing of sabotage, sticking your sandal in the machine. I showed the article earlier where they're getting rid again of the criminal investigators to go after billionaires. Well, people see that now. My dad's a dentist who has a massive practice, and the IRS headquarters for 4 states is right by his office. So 10% or so of his patients are IRS agents. They listen to the show. They now know what's going on. They now bring him stuff going, yeah, look, these tax-free foundations, they don't pay anything. And so they're getting it. The little business owner going bankrupt who can't pay the taxes, their understanding isn't greedy. They see the businesses shutting down while these people controlling trillions of dollars are paying nothing and getting taxpayer money in bailouts.
No, you're right. And you're also pointing out, like with your dad, I mean, the same thing goes on in my family, that we don't know. Devi Kid saying that on the radio back in '96. She didn't know that I was out there listening. But if we keep on beating that drum and we keep on talking, those results may not happen immediately, or we may not even be aware of those results, but they're happening. It's percolating. It's percolating. It's percolating. It's percolating. And we need to just keep at it. And what your dad is experiencing, I'm experiencing as well. I think it's happening all over the country and even all over the world.
Amazing. Let me say bye to you here at the end of the show. I'm going to sign off. Joe Bannister, God bless you. You're a testament to liberty. And like you said, it's those ripples in the pond. Just keep getting the message out, keep getting it out. And then people like yourself taking stands. I think it's the persecution that finally probably woke up those former fellow agents, because our own persecution then becomes a testament as well. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Wow. Well, that was an extended, I don't know, almost hour-long interview with Joe Bannister. I don't know how we're ever going to cut this show down to an hour officially. I know we're on every week for 2 hours on a pretty big cable channel in England that's on basic cable. They just cut it all down to 2 hours. A lot of cable systems are already picking it up, just downloading it off PrisonPlanet.tv. But soon we will try to launch the official show with the uplinks and all of it. This is for subscribers and the millions that watch it on YouTube and other places. And it's another blessing. People say, is it too late? The fact that I'm even on air or alive shows there's still a lot of good people out there. The fact that we're reaching so many people and having such success, even though I don't do that good of a job, is another testament to the fact that people are resonating with truth. They're hungry for it. And so all we've got to do is have the courage to stand up against this. But I've said it before, it's not even really courage. If you study history, you'd have to have crazy, blind courage to not want to fight this. In fact, quite frankly, I'm just scared of this thing coming into full fruition. I'm actually, I guess it's not courage. I mean, it's self-preservation. And that's what I want people to get. It's not just a Joe Bannister or Ron Paul and Alex Jones, somebody, Bob Chapman who's fighting this. This is for everybody. You're only alive once. This is all happening right now. This life is a test. That's what it's all set up for on this planet out here in space. And this is a test to see what you're going to do. And the enemy wants to tell you all day that that's not the case. There is no God. I've studied the globalists. They are 100% spiritual. They just worship the bad guy. All right, that's it for this edition of InfoWars Nightly News. You want to support us? Those of you out there watching it on the wider web, become a subscriber. 15 cents a day funds all this. There's a 15-day free trial right now running at PrisonPlanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com. There's links at InfoWars.com. But make no mistake, history is happening right now. We've entered that crossroads, that jump point. Our future destiny is being decided right now. So get involved in the fight. Don't wish later that you hadn't, because we can control our destiny when we take action with God's help. See you back tomorrow night.